What is your real name? Your soul name? The name that when you assume, you become more of who you are. Not necessarily your birth name, or a name that you've assumed through marriage or through other means. Not even a professional title. What is the sound that corresponds to your expression, your vibration, your being? I was researching the other day, and I came across facets of Egyptian spirituality, the Kemetic tradition. And one of the things that stood out to me was a term called Ren, R-E-N. And to an Egyptian, they would have two names. One would be their birth name. That would be the name by which those in their community knew them. The other name would be a soul name, one that was connected to the stars, to their version of astrology, and only their closest family members and the spiritual passage, the channel that shared it, the teacher, would know that name. But it was a name that when spoken or uttered would bring forth the being inside. Now, I've been pondering this for years now. My own name for a long time was Ben, a truncation or a shorter version of Benjamin. And at one point, I tried on Benjamin in my 30s after getting a degree, a doctorate, and it didn't stick. People still called me Ben. So it got me exploring who was Ben and who is Benjamin. Now, I would get in this conversation with people on a regular basis. You'd meet somebody where one of their names would be something other than the other. I had many people that I worked with where they had two names or three names. Their family knew them as one person. Their spouse knew them as another. Their coworkers called them by their professional names. Artists have done this for a long time. Eric Blair as George Orwell, George Eliot, Mark Twain, Bob Dylan, David Bowie, Bruno Mars, and so many more have two names, their star name and their birth name. But there may be a name beyond those names. Now, to exist in the world, you have to have a name. People have to have a point of reference. They can't just shout out in the crowd and say, "Hey, you, over there." How many people would turn around? You have to have a point of reference. You have to have a label or an identifier, and that is a name. But just because you've had an identifier, a name does not make it true. You can have something that you've been called for a long time and recognize that that name has baggage. Well, that name represents a smaller version of who you actually are. It's not the summation of your character. It doesn't bring forth the essence of your being. Now, what's interesting is when you cross the names, you bring the other name, the expanded name, into the limited space, people oftentimes push back. They reject that name. They know you as the smaller version, right? And the people that recognize you as the big name that you're becoming, not in an egoic way, not to feed the ego, but to resonate with the soul, recognize that. Now, think on this. Do you have a nickname? Do you have a surname? Many surnames? Do you have different versions of your name? Are there instances when you go by your middle name? All of these are compartments of who you are. And think on this. Each name has a life of its own. So one name lives in a more expanded way. Another name may be more artistic, more developed. But there is a sound vibration, a naming convention that suits you, that fits you. It may already be what you're wearing right now as your proper name, or maybe something that you've yet to discover. I had many spiritual epiphanies over the last 10 or 15 years. And that took me into all different sorts of different circles. I got into healing arts and I got into meditation and all these different things. And I would meet people that had taken Vedic names. They had taken names from India or China or other cultures, Native American names, because it felt like it suited them more. It invoked something inside. A name, after all, is an invocation. It brings forth something the same way a prayer brings forth something. The same thing that when people pray to Jesus or pray to Krishna or whoever they pray to, they're invoking. They're creating a lifeline, a connection to creation, to being. When somebody calls your name, they're calling something forth inside of you. The small name is saying, remain small. This is how I know you. Nicknames can be that way. The big name is saying, this is who you're becoming. This is how I see you. It has to be something, though, that you claim. Cymatics is the science of vibration and sound. And if you watch videos on cymatics, you'll see that the Om sound, the sound of the universe, as it's stated, creates a beautiful geometric pattern, what they call sacred geometry, in a cymatic plate, vibrating sand and creating a shape. All the sounds that we create are vibrations. They have a pleasant or a displeasing effect upon us, a consonant, a dissonant, or resonant harmonic sound. Your name is that way. In a connected space, your name should bring forth that beautiful shape, that sacred geometry inside of you. It should bring forth the full expression of who you are. So what do your names represent to you? For me, Ben, though beautiful, was a truncation. It was not taking up space. Benjamin takes up space, not in an egoic way, but in a way that feels true to me right now in my own life. My last name is no longer fitting. So my wife and I are playing with new surnames. A new name, not professional, but a new name for our family. Names also carry mantles. They carry weight. They carry tradition. When you hear certain names, they bring forth a past with them. Doesn't mean you have to carry that past, but you may be carrying a past within your name. So, how do I call you by your name? And what is your name? It's something I've been sitting with. What is my name? On the truest level, on the soul level, I have no name. I am being. I am life itself. I am creation, breathing in and breathing out, which sounds very poetic, and it is very true, but it's very difficult to relate human to human in that way. So I'm taking a chosen name, one that fits me. Not like an ill-fitting garment, but something that I can breathe in, that I can live in, that I can create in. So what is your name? The name where you feel alive, the name where you are connected within yourself, the name where you can breathe, the name where you are creative, and you are creating, and your flow, and you are not blocked. And the people that try to keep you small are no longer your gatekeepers. And you're walking through a doorway with this name. And this name is your new name to relate into this world, to shake hands with other people, to be a point of reflection, a referencing point within the cosmological framework of all that is, a beautiful drop of water in the ocean. By what name shall I call you? So I want to thank you for connecting into this space. This is a difficult one for me, because when you make a change in life, which could be done through marriage, it could be through graduation, taking on a new position, a part of you dies, which is not wholly true. I think the bigger truth is a part of you assimilates, a part of you integrates, a part of you expands, and that can feel like death. With my own children, I have one who's turning into a teenager here soon, 2 weeks, and he's afraid. Taking on a new name can be that way too, taking on a new position, a new role. But it is essential for us to grow and to not be attached to who we were, or how things were, but to be connected with who we are. So, thank you. Thank you.